Our church has a tradition of ordinary times, and I've frequently pondered what truly is an ordinary time, especially in today's world, which seems to be full of extraordinary events and extraordinary proclamations. Think the conflict in Syria. Think ice caps melting, political change. For many, if not most, in our world, ordinariness is poverty, political tension and uncertainty. Where will the next meal come from? How will they survive? Millions live ordinary lives displaced, away from their homes and countries, and frequently pining to return, stuck on borders, unable to move forward, unable to move back. That's their ordinariness at this time. But Lent is not an ordinary time. Lent for us is a time set apart. Lent is out of the ordinary. Today, in our first reading from Samuel, we have David. David's a shepherd boy, a seemingly ordinary brother and son of Jesse. But David is lifted out of his ordinariness to be anointed king. Why David? We are told it's because God has looked into David's heart. His ordinariness has been transcended by God. In the Gospel of John, neighbours struggle to recognise that the man in front of them, who now can see, is the same man that they have frequently walked past, begging on their roads, trying to survive. This man now can see. Why can this man see? Because Jesus has opened his eyes. He has also been anointed. So we have two stories of people being anointed, brought to extraordinariness in our readings today. Both are ordinary people who've been made extraordinary. Because God has looked upon them, God has looked into their hearts. They've been lifted out of their ordinariness and shown to others, shown to be extraordinary. And the neighbours, you and I have been invited to see their extraordinariness. Today, the stuff of our lives is meeting what on the face of it does seem ordinary, and coming to know that there's an extraordinary story behind. The extraordinariness is frequently unknown to us because we have not yet seen. A recent campaign in our cities, and I think you might have seen it, was called A Day Without Immigrants. A day when immigrants didn't come to work and we were invited to know what it's like not to have drivers or waiters or surgeons, bankers coming to work. The purpose of the campaign was to highlight the role that immigrants play in our life, for us to know the importance of them in our economy and in our daily lives. Many of these immigrants also have extraordinary stories to tell. Because of the conflict and poverty in their daily lives, they have had to perform extraordinary feats, leaving home, leaving study, leaving family to start again. Ordinary people in extraordinary times. This week, I met one such person. I'd met him before. His name's Pascal. Pascal came to Australia from West Africa seeking asylum, and after some years he was granted refugee status. Now Pascal, who I met in our local fruit shop, is married with 3 children and just finishing his electrical engineering degree. Pascal is an ordinary person who's performed extraordinary feats, and I'm privileged to have seen them, to know him and to understand. In one sense, I came to look into his heart. One of the invitations of this Lent This extraordinary time is to see with a capital S and a capital E and a capital E those around us with new eyes, using the eyes as God has, looking into their hearts. And in this Lent, it's even more important that we do this for our migrants and refugee brothers and sisters, because in this time, their ordinariness is really facing enormous challenge, and it's God who can help us to realise the extraordinary feats that they're performing and the help that we can give.